Welcome to the Power Couples Rock podcast, where our mission is to build a collective community of marriages, where we encourage, inspire, and support one another in order to have masterful marriages. We're Carlos, Catherine, Chris, and Sonia. Please check us out, powercouplesrock.com. Follow us on Facebook, YouTube, Twitter, and Instagram. We believe that one of the most amazing legacies we can leave in life is a great marriage. So we hope you'll listen, learn, and love the conversation. Let's power up. Hello, and welcome to the Power Couples Rock podcast. It's been a minute, and if it's been a minute, it's been way too long. My name is Chris, and I am surrounded by people that I love so much. My favorite people in the universe, and my most beautiful wife, Sonia. Sonia, say hello to the people.
Hello, Power Couples.
I love her.
Oh, sweet.
And my most favorite people here in the studio, the Green Machine studio. Would you please welcome Carlos and Catherine Green?
Hey, what's up, Power Couples?
Hey, Power Couples.
Listen, everyone, this is a special edition PowerPod. Can we just, this is a special edition.
Yes.
I just made it less special.
Yes.
But we are coming off of a Power Couples Rock experience in Chattanooga, Tennessee, and we're still basking in the glow of it. It was something that we've been talking about, we've been hearing about from the couples that attended, and one of the questions that we are getting is, when is the next one and where is the next one? And what we thought we would do is give everyone here that's listening a taste of what a Power Couples Rock experience is all about.
Mm-hmm.
And I want to go around because I want to hear from you guys. What, for me, I can talk about what I felt was great about Chattanooga and the people there and everything there. But I would love to hear from you guys what you guys felt like was the best things about the Power Couples Rock experience in Chattanooga, Tennessee.
Sure. Carlos.
Let's let the beautiful ladies go
Ladies
first.
first.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Want me to go first?
Yes,
Go for it.
Sonia.
All right. I think the thing that I loved the most about the experience was just the genuineness of Carlos and Catherine. You can tell by the things they said, the way they said it, that they truly believe and feel everything they say. It's not just rehearsed. It's not, I'm just going to say this because I want everyone else to do this. It's what they live, and
That's
it's
right.
truly what they believe. So for me, it was just wonderful watching them in their element. I think that was the most exciting part for me.
I had several moments, but thank you so much for that.
You're
Those
welcome.
kind words. I had lots of moments, but if I have to pick one, I would say it was the engagement of the men that really impressed me the most. Typically, we have a lot of the women that speak out, but let me just say, at all of our Power Couples Rock book tour experience, most of the men have been the ones that have been speaking and have been more engaged. And it just really warms my heart to see the leadership of the men and them to also be vulnerable and be willing to break down that, that wall and say, okay, I'm in a safe place to where I can really share
Right.
my experience and I can really participate. And that's what stood out to me.
So do you think that by them coming to the Power Couples Rock experience that we dispel some of the myths that when you come to a workshop or retreat, we're not bashing men or anything. We're really lifting them up and giving them a safe space where their voice can be heard.
Right. A few of the men I talked to is quite funny and hilarious. One of the guys said, I just had to come up and tell you that I told my work buddies, I'm going to one of them marriage retreats. He was just like dragging. And he said, I'm happy to say when I go back that it wasn't just a retreat. It was an experience about how to have a community, a healthy community of married couples that can lift each other up. And he said, I'm proud to say that to the men now when I go back at work. And I said, well, that's what it's all about. So that was one instance that the men feel like they can let their walls down and that you can dissolve some of those myths that people put in the atmosphere.
I remember the other couple, one of the ladies said, I didn't even tell my husband where we were going. He just said, okay, I'll just dress up and I'll go wherever she wants to go. And I find myself here at the Power Couples Rock Marriage Experience. But he did come up afterwards and say, I am so glad that she surprised me and made me come here because it was so refreshing. It was so informative and it was so engaging. That I could have this experience, not only with my wife, but with the community of couples that attended.
But I think that's a testament to you guys and what you guys bring to this experience, that you make everyone feel comfortable, you make everyone feel welcome, and you dispel this myth that men aren't cool or men don't go to marriage retreats. So I think that's kudos to you guys for that.
Well, thank you. But I do believe it's the move of the Holy Spirit, just creating that space for them to have their voices heard.
Sure.
And I believe as leaders of their families that they need that. And I think that the women, I believe that the women need to hear their husbands speak.
Yes.
Hear their husband's heart. And when they hear their husband's heart, I think that creates a tenderness.
Sure.
For the wives to actually give to their husbands. Because they do hear their hearts. And I'm glad that the Holy Spirit, through our Power Couples Rock Marriage Experience, can create that kind of environment.
Absolutely. I agree with that.
I think for me, the thing that I liked most about this event was not just the event itself, but the fact that really the entire day for us, we traveled from Atlanta to Chattanooga. We got to spend the entire day with you guys. And, we also got to spend the entire day with the fifth member of Power Couples Rock team, your son, Isaac.
Yes.
And, he was able to travel with us and certainly was a part of the event. And as we were traveling up to Chattanooga from Atlanta, I had this idea. The day before I bought this audio recorder, and I said, you know what we're going to do? In true Power Couples Rock podcast fashion, I'm going to put this recorder on as we're traveling in Carlos's vehicle up to Chattanooga, and we're going to record a podcast on the road. So we're going to play that podcast for you. I've got a little special surprise here for you. This is I guess a Power Pod within a Power Pod. Yes. Power Pod Inception or something like that. So I'm gonna set this up and just tell you that this is off the cuff. I hit record, and this is we had no idea what we're going to talk about. Typically, when we do these Power Pods, we have a general idea what we're going to talk about. We don't pregame too much, and that's purposeful. We want this to come out fresh from our hearts into your ears. And so the sound quality, I'm going to apologize a little bit for, but because we're in a car, we're going 65, 70 miles an hour. And so without further ado, I'm going to introduce what we call Charge Up Your Batteries.
Charge up your batteries.
Power Couples Rock, Chattanooga Tour Edition.
Hey.
What's up, people?
Lights red.
Is the battery? Does it need batteries?
Yeah, so it only takes 2 AA's.
Oh, really? Did you bring extra?
I did not.
Do we need to get some extra batteries?
It's got a
Oh, you can charge
DC,
it.
No, I can't. It's not rechargeable. I'll get a couple
Keep interrupting the podcast.
Are we
asking too
podcasting?
many questions.
Well, it's not. No.
Live?
I can edit it out later.
You going off topic.
Well, the topic
off
is
topic.
when you don't have your batteries available. That's
As a married couple, what is your battery? You need to have your batteries.
the double A, triple A.
D. You need that lithium rechargeable.
Yes.
That's what you need.
What
how you
happens
power
when
up.
the battery goes dead? That's what I'm
That's
saying.
not a
Stop
bad
it.
thing.
What
There we
happens
go.
when the battery goes dead?
In
there
your
we go.
relationship.
How do you recharge those
How do
batteries?
you hello? The
Let's
Power
do
Pod
this.
has started.
You
can't just put them in the freezer and think that they're going to charge themselves.
That's right.
You can't just put them in a freezer. Like,
You have to look at how much battery life you've got left.
correct.
How many times do you go to use whatever you got to use, you don't have any battery power, and you think to yourself, I could have charged that, and I didn't charge it.
Yes.
Exactly.
And now you're paying for it.
Yes. Let me tell you about when the battery went dead
You're talking
at
about
one of the Power Couple life experiences. Okay. Forgot to charge the camera battery. And
It was the camera flash battery.
oh, well, talk on. Generation.
Isaac's
Camera flash
YG.
battery. And I rented it from school, the batteries from school. And I came to find out, you know what I'm saying, a couple weeks after that, you know what I'm saying, they said don't use these batteries, get your own batteries because these batteries go dead quick. But I didn't know that because I didn't shoot for that long. I haven't been shooting for that long. Like, when I use them batteries, they always work for like an hour and stuff, so I never had no issues. Now, when I took it to an event, they went dead.
Ooh.
So that's not my fault. That's not my fault.
But let me tell you what came out of that. You can't use somebody else's batteries. Hello. You gotta get your own batteries
That's why,
to get the life.
that's why you have to go through experiences first in order to understand. You know what I'm saying?
Are we talking about marriage right now, or are we talking about cameras? Which one are we talking about? I know we're trying to do. What is it?
I think they both
I'm
relate.
confused now.
I agree with you.
They relate.
How so?
You can't use someone else's experience and what works in their relationship. You have to use your own.
Okay.
Now
I
that
like that. That'll preach.
will
I like
preach
that.
and teach.
You can't use someone else's experience. Elaborate on that. I'm trying to follow. It's
You
early
can't
for
live
me.
someone else's life and what they're doing and expect it to always work in your relationship.
Okay.
You can learn and glean from their experiences.
But you can't just go, I'm going to be like them.
Correct.
What
Because you're
if
not them.
What if you're a married couple and you feel like your batteries are low all the time? You know, you ever get that? Remember when the older batteries, I think they were the nickel cadmium batteries, you get that what's called battery effect?
Yes.
And that was a thing where you either let it charge or you had to let it charge all the way down before you could charge it up.
Back up again.
And it always felt like when you were using it, the battery was not charged as much as it should be. It was only using a small amount of capacity. So as a married couple, how do you expand the capacity so that you can remain fully charged?
Well, you
What
go
are
to
some
a
ways?
Power Couples Rock experience,
Okay,
first of all.
okay,
You
one.
read Power Couples Rock Journey book, second of all. You get around the couples around you, and you experience life with them. Okay, can somebody else come in? I got more.
You didn't take a breath.
You're just gonna-
You didn't take a breath.
Here, give her a drink
My
of water.
battery
Give her a drink of
is
water.
charged.
She is fully charged this morning.
No, you're right. It's like you guys always talk about being lifelong learners, right? And we go on autopilot, and that's when you go on autopilot and you don't continue to be intentional about your marriage and you don't continue to do things together, surround yourself with a community of like-minded couples. Those are the things that if you don't continue to look at it, your battery is going to always feel like it's charged down. You've got to continue to charge it up and continue to do those things.
I definitely
And I would
agree.
say immediately or prioritize what should happen first. And you have to get connected to the source, the one that really charges your batteries, the one that gives you life.
Go on.
You get connected to him first, because
Yeah.
he said he came to give you life, he give it more abundantly, and that's the free charge that he gives you. So when you charge him first, charge with him or connect with him, then he's going to create all of those or open up all those other opportunities for you to do life on life. Come to a marriage rock couples experience to have a community that you can do life with. But if you don't go to that source first, then your batteries are going to continue to go down really fast.
Yeah.
So he can give you the life, right?
That's good, Carlos. I like that. You're right.
Yes.
Yes.
And I don't know if we ever take a look at that to just say, that's our main source. That's where we get the biggest charge from.
That's it.
The longest lasting charge from that will never go dead if we continue to connect with that source.
Yeah, and it's like you don't even have to worry about going and plugging it in. It's like solar.
Yes.
It's like solar power.
Yes.
Oh, I like that.
That's
How
it.
about that?
How
Yeah.
about
Can we
that?
think think of any more analogy was with the battery. I think we hit it.
No, well, what about when the car battery goes dead? You can't
gotta get a
just
jump.
you gotta get jumped up. You gotta connect to those jumper cables. Which I don't know if all cars do that now, but I've seen where some of the older models, they may need someone to have the jumper cables. And I have seen where someone's asked me, "Do you have a set of jumper cables?" No, I don't have a jumper. So I couldn't help them. And so that goes to what a community is all about too. You know, sometimes you can ask the community if they'll have what you need, but sometimes you got to have your own jumper cables in case you need to be able to help jump yourself off with somebody else's car
Or help someone else.
help someone else. You got the cables in your car.
I love it.
So
We are on the way to Chattanooga right now to experience life and do life with other married couples, all under the Power Couples Rock umbrella. And we just decided we were going to record a special edition, the special Chattanooga Power Couples Rock Tour Edition, PowerPod, on the road, and in true Power Couples Rock podcast fashion, we had no plan for what we were going to talk about. I just hit record and we just went. So this is a different type of deal, but we're excited. And I know that one of the things, you know, obviously the five of us, Isaac here, Carlos, and Catherine's son is with us, and we're excited about that. But the five of us here are working on the event, talking about, you know, what's going on there and sort of working the plan. So we're working on that, and we wanted to do this. We wanted to open this up and share what we're doing. But kind of what's on my heart is road trips, right? Because we're in a road trip currently, and a lot of people that are listening right now, they take road trips together. Whether it's I don't know, you're going to see family and you're going to be in the car for a couple hours, or maybe more. And usually what we don't think about is that's a time where you're together. And what happens is you'll turn on your satellite radio, maybe turn on your Power Couples Rock podcast, put your headphones on, but you're not really spending that time together. And what I've always tried to do when Sonia and I are taking a trip to Tennessee, and sometimes gets her a little annoyed, but I like to talk. I like to spend that time talking with her and connecting with her. And sometimes Sonia's not ready to talk. Sometimes she's a little annoyed by it. But I would just encourage people, if you're taking a road trip together, don't diminish that opportunity. Take that opportunity to connect. And don't stockpile some stuff and this is the stuff you got to work on, with us. But take that time to just share your heart with each other, spend some time together, whether that's praying together or whether that's talking about something, talking about how you're feeling about particular things. Take that time, be intentional, and use those opportunities that you do have together. So
sounds good.
Okay. Sonia, was I on or off with that whole?
You were great with that.
You were on, yeah. With the chatter, yeah.
No, you were great on.
That's what she calls it. She calls it chatter.
You're chattering.
You're chattering. Stop chattering.
Chattanooga
we've connected. We've connected this We've connected this whole trip.
Yeah.
Some people thought they were going to go to sleep, but because the energy in the room or in the car was so vibrant and alive, it was amazing. So I love that.
All right. Well, we're going to shut it down.
But we first got to do what? We got to get powered up.
There it is. The Charge Up Your Batteries PowerPod within a PowerPod, brought to you by Carlos's Ford Bronco and my recording device,
Explorer.
which I clearly need to learn how to use. But this is going to give you, what did I say, Bronco? Okay, sorry.
But we were exploring. It's an
That's
explorer.
right. We were exploring going to Chattanooga with our chatter.
Chattanooga.
Today's PowerPod is brought to you by Ford. So, you guys, you get a glimpse of what it's like for us to be together, and obviously Isaac in there as well. So that was pretty special, to have him a part of what we're doing there. So I thought at this point it would be good to give you guys some of the audio from the Power Couples Rock experience in Chattanooga, and of course a number of things that have been mentioned in some of these power pods are addressed within these experiences, and except obviously more in depth, and there's a lot more things, and there's a lot more involvement with those couples there, and certainly there's a lot of that community of iron sharpening iron along those key principles of what Power Couples Rock is about. And one of the key principles that we talk about in depth on one of our Power Pods, Marriage Glue, is covenant, and the covenant marriage and what that means. And I thought it would be good to just give a listen to Carlos at one point in the Power Couples Rock Chattanooga experience, talks about covenant and what his ultimate goal is, and how when he's making any decision in life, especially major decisions in life, the two principles that he really needs to think through, that I think we all really need to think through in our marriage, and how those principles work for him. So this is Carlos.
Here's my ultimate statement. Is my wife better off because she married me? Can we say that? Is my wife better off because she married me? I have two questions that I always ask myself. And when I make a decision, does it glorify God, and does it benefit my spouse? If I can say yes to both of those questions, then I can move forward. In any major decision that I'm making in life, does it glorify God, and does it benefit my spouse?
That's Carlos touching on just how he works within the covenant of marriage. Carlos, is that born out of is there a verse? Is it just something like a mantra for you? Like where is that whole concept? Where does that come from?
Yeah, thanks, Chris, for asking that. When I looked at does it glorify God, and does it benefit my spouse, actually comes from Matthew, the 22nd chapter, verses 37 through 40, when it talks about the two greatest commandments. And the first commandment being to love the Lord your God with all your heart, soul, and mind.
Yeah.
And then the second one is to love your neighbor as yourself.
Yeah.
So those decisions that I look to make in my life, does it glorify God, and does it benefit my spouse? And my spouse is my closest neighbor.
Yeah.
It's the neighbor I should be most concerned with.
Right.
So that's where that comes from. That's where we draw upon that covenant relationship. Is when we're talking in Matthew there.
That's awesome. That's awesome. One other clip I wanted to play that was from the Chattanooga experience that I thought was really great. It was actually Catherine at one point, and she was talking about, you guys got into marriage protection strategies, and we talk a little bit about that on the Power Pods, and we get specific too. But I felt like this was a really great point in the experience where people started to get more vulnerable, started sharing some things, and it was soon after this that it really kind of became a conversation with all the people in the room.
It did.
Didn't it? It was really great. So let's roll into a clip of Catherine speaking about the changes that you guys have gone through recently in terms of Carlos's employment and how she's used marriage protection strategies throughout that, and how that applies going forward with power couples.
One of the marriage protection strategies is definitely praying for him as he goes into these meetings and as he's traveling. You know, Atlanta's the biggest airport for all these sexual favors and that kind of thing. I'm not being ignorant to that. You know, what we can do is feed our minds and not be attentive to what the Spirit of God is saying. So I don't take it lightly. And because the covenant means so much to me, I put that in my prayer log, and I pray for him as he was traveling a lot. I still do that. But one of the other marriage protection strategies that we meet on a monthly basis and just talk about 6 core areas in our life. And that's faith, family, finance, fitness, future, and fun. And we work through those. You guys, some of you guys have seen our family goal planning guide and workbook, but we truly live by that on a monthly basis. We talk about how's your faith. You know, he needs to know, like, do you need more Bible study? Do you need more women's studies? Do we need to scale back? We talk about that because that's important, because we don't want to get in this same regimen over and over and over again, but we want to always keep growing and making each other better.
There it is. I mean, that's if there's one thing that I would look to, and we talk about being intentional, right? And we talk about, you know, hour of power. We talk about creating agendas. Like, if there's one thing that sort of encapsulates where you might need to start in your marriage, I think that phrase really, and what Catherine's talking about, is really what you've got the core areas that you're talking about,
yes.
right?
Yes.
And those are going to come, but it has to start with you sitting together as a team and working together to put together that agenda, to have that meeting and discuss, you know, what you were talking about, Catherine. It's not just about, hey, who's going to pick up the kid here, and how are we going to do this, and who's going to change the oil in the cars, and of course you got to do that. That's part of but it's like, how are you feeling spiritually right now, and opening up and praying together for each other, working together as a team. And it's just something that you think you're doing the right thing individually because you're working to provide for your family, or that you're focusing tons of energy on your child because that's part of your family, but you cannot do any of that to the detriment of the marriage.
That's right.
And that is just, I felt like that was like just a really key component of the experience, and I think it really just set people in motion, because it kind of gets you thinking about what you need to be doing.
Yes, you need to be coming together as a team. I know we have various teams here in Atlanta, and I know they come up with strategies on how they can win, on how they can work together as a team. And so they meet consistently, and we take some of those ideas or those skills that they use, not just in a team atmosphere, but also in our work atmosphere, and we want to make it applicable to our marriage. And so that's helped us to stay grounded, and has helped our communication to be stronger. And what I love most about it, those marriage protection strategies, is that when we were doing it in the actual tour, that we got so many people to participate, to share with us some other marriage protection strategies that maybe we did not even think of, or that they're using. One couple said they meet every 2 weeks, which frequency meant a lot more for them to do that, and they felt like they stayed on top of, you know, any challenges, any successes that they may have, that they can celebrate that. And because they traveled a lot, it allowed them to stay connected with one another. So they needed to meet more frequent. And you have to just figure out what that is for you. Yep. But you need to put some protection strategies in place that's going to help your marriage thrive.
Yeah, and I think to that, it's a great point. It's like, you know, you guys are saying, you know, do an hour of power and you know, whatever, and be intentional about doing that. But you know, what works for you guys may not work for another couple, right? It you know, maybe they need to be meeting twice a week. Maybe they need to be meeting monthly. Maybe it's whatever is going to work for you to ensure that these things aren't falling off the rails. And I'm trying to remember, somebody was saying another thing that they do is, you want to put things on the agenda for that meeting. Well, don't make those things a surprise.
Yes.
Especially the big things. Like, don't just wait. If your meeting is a week away and you want to talk in that meeting about intimacy, why are you waiting a week to talk about it? Right. You know, that's you know, let's start having those conversations. Find the time to have those conversations, the right time to have those conversations, you know, that works with whatever his cycle is, whatever her cycle is, it needs to be the right time in order to have those conversations. I think that was another thing that came out of like sort of those meetings. Carlos, I know you were going to say something there. I didn't want to interrupt you.
Go ahead,
I was just going to say, when you said that, it brought something to my mind. I said, I love popcorn, okay? But you cannot have popcorn conversations all the time.
Exactly.
Because especially intense popcorn conversations, it's just not healthy for a relationship. So setting aside a time to discuss that, giving people advance notice. So you have some people in their relationships that are processors and some who can just think right on their feet. And we have to respect those who, the different gifts and talents we have to bring to the marriage and allow those people the opportunity to, if they're processors, to process the time and not always do a lot of popcorn. And those who can speak, we as processors, I'm speaking for myself, should also honor that, they need a more rapid answer, and we can come to some common ground.
I completely agree with you there. Here's the two things that I would love to say in regards to what you talked about. I think that you can put the plans together, but for me, if these two elements are not part of the planning process, then all those plans may fail. One is consistency, and the other is discipline. I think we can say we're going to have the hour of power. We can say that we're going to meet once a month or 2 times a month. But if we don't have consistency in doing that, and we don't have the discipline to intentionally and purposefully make that happen, then 6 months will go by and like, wow, those popcorn conversations will start coming up. So that's the first thing. And then the second thing is that everything that you all are talking about, there's a difference between just setting the goals to make them transactional. But I think what we're more talking about here in setting our goals is more relationally.
Yeah.
What does that look like from our relationship?
And I think it's important too to remember that it's never too late to start.
Yes.
I think Chris and I would be a perfect example of that. It's something when we got married that that was not anything that was on our radar, to have an agenda to talk about things. And I think the more time we spend with Carlos and Catherine, we attend their events, we talk through these PowerPods. I think we begin to understand how important it is, and that's something that we should consistently be doing. So we are learning a lot, even though we are a part of this PowerPod.
Yeah.
So it's never too late to get started.
Never.
Never.
All right. So we're getting towards the end of this thing, but I would be remiss if I didn't. We're talking about the Chattanooga experience, Power Couples Rock events, and you're seeing the events on powercouplesrock.com. You're seeing the pictures. You may have even, if you're following social networks, you probably saw a recap video of the Chattanooga experience and whatnot. But I'd love to just have you guys, if you would, I guess, make a special announcement of a brand new Power Couples Rock event and experience that's we'd like to announce here on the PowerPod, and hopefully those in the area, surrounding areas and other countries would be flying in.
I know, right? That would be fantastic.
But if you guys will, it would be great to hear about the next experience.
Yes, we are excited to announce the 4th stop of the Power Couples Rock Book Tour and Marriage Summit.
Yes.
Which is going to be on Saturday, September 14th from 4 to 6:30 p.m. in the great city of Cincinnati, Ohio. We're very excited about that. You can go to our website and check it out. You can register. It's only $40 per couple. And you're going to have a great engagement time with us. And not only just with us, but with other married couples or seriously dating or engaged couples. All of those are actually invited to participate in the Marriage Summit and Book Tour.
And we have something else special.
Yes.
We're going to be partnering with
Yes.
another organization which wants to help us bring Power Couples Rock to their cities.
We are partnering with an organization called Unity Marriage Relationship and Coaching Organization. So we cannot wait to introduce you all to that special couple that we have done life with for so many years. So we cannot wait to actually travel to Cincinnati, Ohio on September 14th, 2019 from 4 to 6:30 p.m. And it's going to be held at Copperfield. And if you go to the website, it'll give you the address of where that location is.
We want you to register in advance. We're only going to take a limited amount of couples.
Correct.
And once that we're sold out. So get your tickets early. We're looking forward to a full house.
You don't want to miss this.
So you heard it. Those of you in the surrounding the Cincinnati, Ohio area, and I know you're listening to PowerPods because I see you listening to it because it's digital and I got all that data. So everyone in the Cincinnati, Ohio area and surrounding areas, it's not that far for some people that are in other areas, and we certainly welcome. We had a lot of people traveling in from other states for the event in Chattanooga. Once again, let me run it down. September 14th, Cincinnati, Ohio. The venue is Copperfield from 4 to 6:30 p.m. Do not miss it. Limited tickets available now on powercouplesrock.com. All the information there. Carlos, Catherine, Sonia, thank you guys so much for spending the time. It was an amazing experience for us, for Chattanooga, and for the people in Cincinnati, Ohio, and those traveling to Cincinnati, Ohio on September 14th. I promise you're going to have just an incredible time of being able to be with that community of married couples and really getting powered up.
Yes.
So I don't know if you guys got anything else that you wanted to share here on the PowerPod.
No, so let's all get
Powered up.
Thanks for listening to the Power Couples Rock podcast. We hope that you've been encouraged, inspired, and supported. Please listen and subscribe to our other Power Pods, as we are confident that they will strengthen your marriage. Also, don't forget to follow us on Facebook, YouTube, Twitter, and Instagram. It's there where we can extend these discussions together, take these conversations and your marriage to the next level. Enjoy your day and power up.